Hi, I'm Rezab. This is Social Media Minute. Big problem that brands and marketers are asking themselves these days is how to find the best Instagram influencers for my brand. And this is a question we're all facing. And of course, if you're in a geo, you can go and try and work with best influencers. If you're doing a regional or even global campaign, this might get harder. Now, obviously, many of these Instagram influencers have their own interests. They express this interest in various ways. They put a lot of hashtags to contextualize. And now for you to analyze, maybe you're in a regional market, there are 500 to 1,000 decently sized influencers on your market. There are obviously tens of thousands of ones around 10,000. Now, if you really want to go ahead and segment all of those, or you sort of a superhero and know all of them by name, then great. If you don't have that skill, then you probably need a tool. At Socialbakers, we've developed something that we think is amazing. And you can check out a certain interest in a certain geo and understand that in a region, for example, Germany, you want to look at the top influencers around a certain interest. You can search them out, and then you can look at different hashtags that these guys use. You can even search and filter these hashtags. You can see, for example, that they've supported a hashtag campaign of a competitor or of a nearby industry. If you're working in fashion, you might be interested what they do in the beauty industry. This is a very, very unique way, and it's so far the only tool in the world where you can search influencers at that scale. Now, of course, maybe your brand goes for a decision of working with one big influencer, and maybe you might get PewDiePie as your best influencer, the #1 YouTuber. But if you're not going after that strategy, and I personally wouldn't recommend going after one major YouTuber alone. I think the combination of using a couple mid to big size influencers and a pretty big long tail of sort of these micro influencers, whether they're 5, 10,000 followers. I personally like ones with sort of 10 to 50,000 follower range and pretty active profiles. Then this is getting harder and harder for both agency and brand to manage, to figure out, how do I find these? This is almost impossible to find when you're doing a multi-regional campaign, to find this manually. So the tool that Socialbakers have built to market helps both the agency and the brand figure out how to work, how to find, and how to operate in the influencer space. And the complexity is getting insane, and it's getting harder and harder every day. And we're going to do lots of videos on examples, how companies have used influencer marketing. If you think you have a good influencer marketing story, comment, reply, direct message us with those. We're definitely going to do a video on them, so please help us out and keep watching us and subscribe to our channel. See you next Monday.